Yeah, welcome back to the Dunk Talk episode 19. Today we have our first in-person dunker interview with Mr. Dom Dunks. So, yeah, if y'all know me, my name is Dylan Haugen, 5'10" dunker from Minnesota. We're all here for the dunk camp in Wisconsin at Hunter's house. So obviously Hunter will introduce himself, then we'll get to Mr. Dom.
Yeah, guys, I'm Hunter Castona, 6'1" dunker from Wisconsin. Obviously, this is my hometown for dunk camp, so pretty cool to have it here. Obviously, we have Dom here as well. Pretty insane dunker. So, Dom, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Dom Gonzales, aka Dom.Dunks. I'm a 20-year-old pro dunker, you could say, and I'm from California.
Sure. So today we're going to be interviewing Dom on his dunk journey and just everything that he did to get to today, and then we'll also get into his recent injuries and stuff. So yeah, just starting off, Dom, how did you get started in dunking? Like, what were some inspirations? Just all that.
Yeah. So all my life I've played basketball since like 5 years old. So always been interested in that. But the main thing that interested me was dunking. I watched Westbrook a lot of MJ highlights, Nate Robinson especially, since I was super short. But I had a door hoop in my house. I just replicated like NBA players a lot and did that for like up until middle school. And then I had no idea dunking was a thing, like pro dunking. So I just thought it was just basketball. So just low rimmed at my house all the way up till high school. Then I came across Jonathan Clark on social media. That was the first pro dunker I saw, and I was like, "Dang, that's pretty cool." And then I was like, I might want to do that. So I made Dom Dunks. Through that process, it was about high school, and yeah, it just started from there, and mainly just low rim. And then I never thought I was able to dunk on 10 feet until sophomore in high school. After practice, I touched the rim for the first time, and then everyone was shocked. It was something normal for me because I had natural bounce, but once I realized that I had unusual bounce, I went to go for my first dunk. It took me like 2 years of actually just jumping and trying. I never worked out for my first dunk. And then after junior year, I got my first dunk. So kind of started from there.
Yeah, and how tall were you then?
My first dunk, I was 16, around 5'6".
It's crazy.
So, obviously, you played basketball growing up. Is there any other sports that you played growing up? Is there any other athletic background from your family? Any other like games that you would play with your friends or anything like that?
Yeah, so growing up, I played 3 main sports. It was baseball, soccer, and basketball. Little swimming lessons, but that's not really a sport. Well, it is, but that's not how I use it. But yeah, those were the main 3. Growing up, I didn't like baseball, so I canceled that out. And then it was just soccer and basketball. I really loved both. And then it came to the point where I had to make a decision, and basketball came out on top. So yeah, those were the main ones. I played flag football for fun, like with my friends, and volleyball. So, but yeah, basketball.
Yeah. So when you started low rimming, did you like know at all that it was helping you, or what like goals did you have when you were low rimming? Or was it literally just for fun?
Yeah, low rimming, I had no like intention of trying to get better at dunking. It was just all pure fun. One thing I really did was try to impersonate other NBA players. So I have 2 older brothers, Dante and Dane, and I told them, name an NBA player and I'll do their dunk or like do their style. They name an NBA player like Russell Westbrook, and then I try to do like a one-hand tomahawk. I'm like, did it look like him? If they say no, I try it again. If it did, I move on. So yeah, that's kind of how I got my style, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I know you obviously have hit some insane low rim dunks. If you guys haven't seen them, make sure you go to his Instagram, scroll all the way down, and you'll see some of them. But like, what was like your first low rim dunk where you realized like this is different? Like this is something that not a lot of people are really doing.
Yeah, I would say probably my double dunk behind the back. That was the first time like a dunk blew up from my page. It was from Ball is Life actually. every like creative dunk was normal for me until I saw people's reactions. So after that blew up, I was like, dang, I guess I am different. I'm gonna keep going with this. And then I went on a whole rampage of double dunks, and people liked that. So continued to make newer dunks. Studied a lot of dunkers like Tyler Curry, Jonathan Clark, Jordan Sutherland, and Jordan Koganen, and I just try to combine all their dunks together. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, like you said, you kind of blew up with low rim dunks. I think one thing for me that I kind of always wanted to get out of was like I was known as a low rim dunker for like the longest time, and I wanted to like, not be known for a low rim dunker, right? Like I wanted to be known for like just being a dunker. So was that something that you kind of experienced, or were you okay with like being a low rim dunker for a while?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't. When I was a low rim dunker, I didn't have a goal to be a professional 10-foot dunker. I just wanted to do my thing, have fun, not make it feel like I have to accomplish something too crazy. Um, so yeah, honestly, it was just fun. But obviously, when I got bouncier, got closer to dunking on 10 and got 10 stuff, I just transferred over basically. But
Yeah,
I
for
low-key want to go back to low rim, to be honest.
sure. Yeah, same, bro.
A lot of people forget. My peak low rim years were probably like 2020, 2021. It's coming back 2025.
Yes, sir.
So with your low rim stuff, like, did you ever basically think about pro dunking at all, like while you were low rimming, or were you just like, or like, when did you start to know about pro dunking when you were low rimming? Like, were you trying to create new dunks, or were you trying to just, like you said, have fun with it, or trying to get it up to when you do get to 10 feet, you hit those dunks at 10 feet? Like, what was your like mindset, and then when did you kind of realize like everything was possible?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this too, to answer your question as well. So when I asked my brothers, like all the NBA players I should do, they literally went through the whole like roster of the NBA, and it got to a point where they were like, I don't know any more people. I'm like, dang, all right, I guess I got to create my own, and that kind of like growth spurted my creativity through that. So I just popped off of that, started social media, started posting, and then as I got bouncier, I did 10 feet, and yeah, I never really thought of pro dunking, to be honest. It was more of like for fun, and then the more honestly, social media like made me realize that it was possible, because people were saying like I'm different or crazy or something like that, but it was normal for me. So yeah, I never really aimed to be pro until I saw it was like in my lane, I guess. So I didn't realize that till 2022. Yeah, 2022. That's when I started like making a lot of 10-foot dunks. I was like, all right, maybe I could get a shot at this. But then 2023 is when I got opportunities that just popped up.
Yeah, for sure.
So with your like brothers, like doing the low rim stuff, are they involved with the low rim stuff, or are you just the only one that was really doing it? Like, do they have any athletic background with any low rim stuff or basketball or anything of that? Like, what were their like roles in all this besides like telling you what dunks to do?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I have a story with our low rimming experience. But my oldest brother Dante, he played baseball. We all played the same sports, but his main was baseball. Then my other brother Dane, he played soccer, but we also all played basketball. So we all played like in our backyard, like 1v1v1, 21. But there's this funny story about dunking with all of us. I think it was All-Star weekend. I forgot what year, but it was like halftime for the All-Star game. And then we were like, or my oldest brother was like, all right, let's have a dunk contest outside. And I was too short and too unathletic, so I couldn't dunk. So I was just doing like creative layups. But he did some crazy dunk at the time that I thought was crazy. He just chucked it above the house. He let it bounce on the balcony. It bounced on the floor. And then before he threw it, he was like, dude, I'm Michael Jordan. He threw that thing. And then he jumped from what I thought was free throw line, probably like inside the key. and then he just dunked it. I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then low key, he like lit my eyes up, like, dude, I want to do that. Because at the time, like I said, I couldn't dunk on that, and I was like, I want to do that so bad. I want to dunk on that 7.5 rim. And then, yeah, I think I just try to keep dunking on that rim every day, like after school.
Yeah, for sure. I know that's something that a lot of people, actually, I like know some people that are probably like 10, 11 years old that are like can't quite dunk on like 7.5 or 8 feet. And they watch me when I'm around them just doing like crazy stuff, like without even warming up, right? Just like walking up and I'm bored, so I'll just casually do like a 360 East Bay or something like that. And I think that they get super discouraged because they're like, this is so low and like I can't even do anything on it. So what would you say to those people, like the importance of kind of doing that and trying every single day?
Yeah, especially if you're young, you're obviously going to grow athletically and just physically. So don't be discouraged, especially early in your dunking journey. Just have fun with it, have a positive mindset. Just know that you are going to progress um, because you're young, you know? Just keep having fun with it. Mess with ideas. If you have access to a door hoop or if your parents let you, try to use one. That's what I did, especially 2016. I used it to like replicate Zach Levine and all that, and I was able to dunk on it because I was short. Um, but yeah, just do what you can. You're gonna progress. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think including us, like didn't think it was possible for what we've achieved so far. Um, Even when we were like really really young, like when we started to figure out what pro dunking was, and even just the dunk scene in general, I think a lot of people don't give themselves enough credit or just try enough, and they fall short of either being a pro or just they're basically being at their peak performance, and um, you just never know what you're going to accomplish unless you try. So again, to say which like for the younger generation of the dunk community and everything, that just keep trying everything. Like if you get it, don't feel like you're getting embarrassed because you can't do something. I mean, there's plenty of amateurs and stuff like that that aren't doing what pros are doing just because again they don't have as much experience and their training age isn't as high as theirs and stuff like that. So, but they keep trying because they know that they're capable of what they're doing. So, just try what you can and like don't look at other people as like obviously it could be competition, but like you're your own person. Everybody has their different styles. Everybody has their different packages, whatever. Just do whatever you can, and you're gonna succeed and progress. So I'll just everybody keep that in mind for the like the younger generation. So
Also, I want to say, like, don't ever get discouraged. Dunking is a very small sport, and a lot of people don't understand it. Especially when I was younger, nobody understood what dunking was, and I would say I got a little bullied from it, especially from friends. But don't feel like you're being judged or all that. Don't get down on that. Don't quit dunking because one of your friends say you're weird or something like that. Happened to me, but I just stuck with it because I loved it. God gave you that dream and passion for a reason. So just chase it. Have fun with it. That's the most important thing. Doesn't matter what other people say. And like I said, I got bullied from it. Lost a lot of friends from it, but look where I am now. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So early on in your dunk career, I know you said you got your first dunk around 16.
Mm-hmm.
I think you started training a little bit after that or around then. So if you just kind of want to talk about what encouraged you to start actually jump training, and then what your initial experiences were from that.
Yeah. So got my first dunk 16, 5'6", without working out. It was around July, I think. And then September, Isaiah DM'd me out of nowhere, and he was like, "Yo, what workouts are you doing?" And I said, "Not really doing anything. If anything, I'm doing calf raises on my free time." And he just said, "Are you interested in training with us for free?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" Because I didn't work out, so I wanted to try something different. And I was getting serious in dunking, and I was like, "I think this is the move." So I just took the risk and fully went in with that. And I've been training with them for 2020, 4 years now, and it's so far worked out.
Yeah, for sure. So when you started, did you have any like experience with lifting or Olympic lifting or any of that, or was that something that you kind of had to learn like on the way? And how did you go about learning that?
Yeah, I had zero experience with Olympic lifting. If anything, I just had calisthenic like experience. Um, but John and Isaiah definitely helped me with that. Actually, for the first 2 years, it's funny, you can ask them as well. Um, they never knew what I was up to. Like, I never sent them videos of my technique or anything. They thought I was not doing the workouts at all, but improving out of nowhere. But I was trying the workouts. I guess I was doing them wrong, but it still helped me because since I was a beginner, any type of training would help. Um, but I would say in 2022, that's when I started asking for help. That's also when I started improving like crazy because I was fixing my form and technique through that and through dunking as well. But yeah, I had no experience in the beginning.
So with the training aspect of things, obviously you said you started training like shortly after your first dunk. How much vertical do you think you've gained throughout from when you first started THP and then obviously like your peak vertical that you've gotten? How much do you think you've done it, and how much stronger have you gotten since you started working on it?
All right, so vertical. So I got my first dunk before training. That was probably around 37-inch vertical. I would say my peak vertical is around 47, so probably 10 inches within 4 years. And then strength-wise, I mean, my numbers were 0 in the beginning. And then I can half squat 365 now when I'm healthy and strong. And then 405 box squat for reps. Deep, not that great. 255, 245s and 210s, whatever that is. You guys can add it up. But yeah, those are my basic lifts. Power cleans, not the best. 185. Yeah. What else?
Pretty good.
I don't think there's anything else. I mean, you could say hip thrust and deadlift, but those aren't as important. So.
Yeah. So after you got your first dunk, obviously you're training with THP. What were kind of some of your first trick dunks, like windmill and all that, and when did you hit those?
Yeah, so windmill, I started training for 2 months, and I got my first windmill at my first dunk session, actually. That was with Jonathan Clark, Tyler Curry, Duncan Demings. The first time I met them, too. That was actually the only dunk I made in the session, too. It was like 3 hours, only one dunk, and it was my first windmill. And then I think a couple weeks after that, I hit a reverse 360. That was my second trick dunk. And then I went to San Diego to Ryan Rizuki's place. He's a basketball trainer. I hit a mailman. I wouldn't say that's like a crazy trick dunk, but I thought it was crazy at the time. I was all in the span of like 2 or 3 months. I was literally just transferring all my low rim technique to 10 foot. And I was like slowly gaining vert. Then 2021 came around, and I was almost behind the backing in East Bay, but haven't made it yet.
And then, so to go along with the lower arm stuff and like how you've been progressing with weight training, how important is both of those things for dunking, and what would you say for the younger generation to do for both of those?
Yeah, so in my opinion, I would say low rim dunking is the most important thing you could do in your dunking journey, especially if you're young. Just spam it. Just be creative, have fun with it, try new dunks with it. That's what really got me to where I am. And weightlifting, I would say it is important, but it wasn't the most important thing for my dunking journey. It's the most important thing for my jumping journey, but not dunking. I would say that those are two very different skills, but you need both to be a pro dunker. So if you want to be good at dunking, you got to dunk. If you want to be good at jumping, you got to jump. If you want to be a pro dunker, you need both. So,
Yeah. I think something really cool about that session where you hit a windmill was that while I was watching, I did not know that was your first windmill. I figured it was just an easy thing for you because you were not just attempting windmills, you were also attempting east bays, behind the backs, and like all those other like advanced level trick dunks. So what was that like for you? Because I know, like you said, all your lower rim stuff transferred, which totally makes sense. But what was that like for you to just like barely be getting your first windmill, but being able to attempt these dunks and actually get close at the same time?
I mean, it felt pretty normal for me just because I was used to the motions. But it was also pretty crazy to see like how close I actually was. Also helped me realize like I could do this, so let me keep going and just go from there. But yeah, I was pretty surprised, but not at the same time. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So kind of fast forwarding a little bit now. So obviously we got to your first dunk, your jump training and everything like that. So kind of going into like how you found out about dunk camp. Like when did you find out about dunk camp? What made you decide to go? Like who inspired you to go? And just like what were some like, of your experience for your first year?
Yeah, so the way I found out about dunk camp, I think it was through YouTube. I watched Spider Pen Wheezy,
Who is that? I've heard his name before, but I have no clue who that is.
Josh B. I forgot his last name, but he's a Filipino dunker. He plays volleyball, actually. But he vlogged dunk camp, like day 1, day 2, day 3. I just watched that over and over. Something that like super interested me. That made no sense. I was super interested in that, and I was like, dang, I never knew about this dunk camp. And then it just showed like all the days. That was 2018 camp, I think, that he showed. But I was super young at the time, so I wasn't able to go. Also watched Steven Selly's YouTube video. He had a full-on live YouTube video, I think, of just low rim dunks. And when I was little, I loved low rim dunks. I was like, I want to do that. Then I also saw Jordan Kilgannon versus Jonathan Clark. That was a video, and I wanted to meet them. And I was like, no way, all these pros are there also. And when I was 17, my family or my parents bought me tickets to the dunk camp for the first time, 2021, and that was the first time I went. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so what was your experience like at Dunk Camp 2021? I know obviously you did a lot of low rim stuff, which surprised a lot of people to see in person, and then obviously your high rim, and then if you test your vertical, that as well.
Yeah, so my first 2021 experience, I was very shy. I still am, but I was super shy back then. So I was super nervous to talk to the pros. I talked to Jay Clark a little bit because we had the session before, but like Jordan Kilgannon, I felt like I shouldn't be able to talk to him because he was him. And then Isaiah and Jordan Sutherland, I was just nervous around all the pros. I was pretty quiet, but that was like my low rim year. So I low rim, I think almost every day. I think I created like 2 or 3 dunks that camp. And then I forgot what I tested. That was the first time I ever tested officially. I think it was 41 or 42 official max vert. And then I forgot my standing. It might have been like 32 also. But the last day, 8-foot contest, I went for that. I could run down this like whole contest actually.
Yeah,
I
go for
remember, kind of traumatizing because I lost. But so my first dunk, I threw the lob. I did a Dwight tap, cannonball, 2-hand reverse, punched it first try. After that, I was like, I'm gonna win this for sure. And then after that, I did East Bay Scorpion over Mick Rabchek. He's 5'5", no push off. That was pretty crazy. Did that first try. Second dunk, and then I moved on to the last round. And this is kind of where the downfall happened. So I was like, all right, I'm popping off right now. I'm going to try to go for like my impossible dunks and like my dunks. So I tried to do my double dunk East Bay where someone's holding the ball. And I dunked that ball, and then East Bay another ball. I missed that dunk 3 times. Missed the whole round. And then the other dunk, I just did an East Bay honey dip, and then lost. But
Who did you lose to, bro?
Jaron dunks.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Shout out to
Yeah.
you, but I was low-key a little traumatized from that. But it made me a better dunker. It made me motivated, and I'm like, all right, I gotta step it up now.
Yeah.
So
Was this
Also,
the 7.5 or 8 foot?
8.
that was, yeah, 8 foot.
8 foot.
Yeah. That was basically exactly my first camp experience. Didn't talk to anyone, and then lose an 8-foot contest, which I could have won. But yeah. So next year, 2022, that was my first camp. Actually, I don't even remember talking to you at all, but you went pretty crazy that year. So yeah, let's talk about that going into it. What was your training like? What were your expectations, and obviously, did you meet them? And what were some things you hit?
Yeah, so like I said, 2021 was basically all low rim. I actually only hit one regular dunk on probably just 9-10, like not clean at all. But 2022, a year later, actually less than a year later, because 2021 was August, then 2022 was June, the following year. I forgot my training, to be honest. I remember box squats a little bit, or that was 2023. I forgot. It was ages ago. But yeah, I popped off 2022. Didn't low rim at all. I went straight to high rim. Elbow honey dip, I think. Wait, no. That was a year later. Yeah, back up. What did I do?
2022, bro. That was
2022, yeah, you did. You
Oh,
did a
no,
double
wait,
up.
that was.
year
I
too.
You
forgot.
did a double up over
Alright, yeah.
Archie.
Talk about your test too.
Bet. Alright, it's all coming back to me. 2021, barely dunked. Did low rim. 2022, I don't know what happened to me. I just upgraded, leveled up. Yeah, I honey dipped. Forgot about that. I scorpion, did all the dunks, East Bay, behind the back. Hit my first behind the back actually that camp. Slingshots, all that. Testing, I got 46.5. That was my highest official test. Off vert was 35 or 36. So a big improvement from the first year, especially with dunking and vert. And then that was the first time I did a show. Wait, yeah, I think so. Yeah. No, that was the second show. Literally a week before I had my first 10-foot dunk contest. Kind of won that. Wasn't a prize. But dunk camp, I did the show, like the pre-show, did a crab over Steven Selly. The crowd went wild. It was pretty cool. That was like my first experience of like the feeling of being pro, but I wasn't pro at the time. So just kept me going.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously that year you did really good. And then the next year, I know that you were dealing with some knee pain and stuff. So was that one of the first times that you dealt with injuries, or around that time? Like, what was your injury status?
Before you get into that, did you have some back pain with that too? I think like a couple months before you had some like back issues or something too. So you can kind of get both into those.
But yeah, I'll talk about the back pain first because that happened before. 2022, I think that's, October. I had my first ever professional debut. I was at the NBA arena at Sacramento Kings. Got second place in that against New Williams. And then I think a week or two after that, I had a dunk session in LA. And I spammed behind the back like 50 times. And at the time I didn't know under both 50 times. And didn't know under both is terrible for your back. And I tried that for 2 hours. And I had to drive 2 hours back home in a seat. And it just destroyed me. And it happened from November to December. And I felt like I was paralyzed, to be honest. Like I couldn't do anything. It hurt to sleep, to walk, to sit down, or anything. So I thought I was like kind of over. But
Did you was there any like actual injury to that, or was it just pain that you had? Like was there any like disc stuff, or was it just literally just pain?
to be honest, I don't even know. I never got it checked. I was just dealing with it. I just texted John, spam McGill Big 3, 15-minute walks. And then the last week of December, I felt good. I was like, all right, I'm going to start jumping again. And I hit my first 360 between the legs after not jumping for a while. And then, knee pain for the next time. Got well for a couple months. And then I never experienced knee pain ever. up until till that point. So I was just being dumb. I never really warmed up. Thought I was like still a kid and all that. So one day it was like 50 degrees early in the morning, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna make some content outside. It was literally like raining, and then I went outside, put a beanie on, and in running shoes. It's like I'm gonna make an off-vert content, like see how high I could go. No warm up. I go full depth as hard as I can right away, starting doing trick dunks. Then I worked my way up to 9.5. Then I like literally went like deep squat and jumped, and then I felt the worst knee pain ever, and then I thought my career was over again, and then I screamed to John, and then yeah, that was kind of nagging the rest of the way till camp.
And when was that? What time period?
That was around February, I think,
Okay.
before the camp, 2023, and then camp came along. I did load management till then, got well, and then Monday, the first day of camp, felt great. I was jumping high, windmilling for warm-ups, pump reverse, all that. And then Jordan Sutherland said, wait for the pro session because he wanted me in that, which was a bad idea because I cooled down. So I stopped the regular dunk session, I cooled down, and then I didn't warm up again, and I just immediately started trying to jump with them. And then my knee pain shot to a 9 out of 10, which was terrifying. And I also screamed to John again. I said, John, come help me. I can't move. My knee hurts. And then he fixed me up, like right on the spot. He just did ISOs on me. He just pushed my leg down on the chair. And then I don't even know what happened. It just kind of went away. And then I slowly increased intensity on low rim. And then eventually I joined back in with the pros. I hit 2 dunks and then behind the back, and then I popped off from there after. But still had knee pain after.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously 2023, like you said, someone kind of invited you to the pro session. So around this time you're starting to get noticed as like maybe not pro yet at the time, but like almost pro level. So what was kind of like your first experience around that time where you were like, okay, maybe I am getting to be a pro now?
At dunk camp or just like in 2023?
In general, yeah.
Well, that little invite from Jordan Sutherland felt pretty good, but I never really considered myself pro because I was like, I can't do anything they could do, so I'm just dunking with them, I guess. But literally 2 months after that, or a month after that, Simon, who invites people to FIBA, he DM'd me saying, would you want to do a dunk contest in Canada? And I was like, no way, my first ever international. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. My parents were a little iffy at first because they didn't know much about it, so they were a little hesitant. But eventually, it was able to happen. That happened in July, I believe. Yeah, July. So that was like my first pro experience, and I went against CJ Champion and Tyler Curry. And to be honest, my whole goal was to get second. Like, I didn't want to be last. I just need to make it to second just for fun. That would be cool. So I planned out for a whole month. Like, I never prepared for anything as much as this. I literally planned it out. I had a notebook. I had my written plan. I executed it on low rims. I literally had a punching bag, practiced my double ups on that. Made 10 in a row every single dunk I wanted to do. And then I did like my own little deload before that. Got to Canada. I roomed with CJ. Went over my plan. Didn't tell him my plan, but myself. And I happened to win that whole entire contest. My first ever FIBA contest I won, and then that is what really made me pro. And something that really like stuck out to me to know that is that Sutherland said, you don't really become pro unless you beat one, like in a pro contest or something like that environment. But I still never really called myself a pro. I just let other people say it, because I don't want to be that guy that like, yeah, I'm the pro, I'm a pro, but I still don't really. But that's the first time.
So I just want to go over that full contest because it was pretty crazy. I watched it live. I was hoping you would win, but I did not think you were gonna win, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither.
So yeah, just walk me through kind of like getting into the contest. Like, what was the warm up like? How were you feeling? And then obviously just how it went.
All right, let's walk through. Bring back my prime. All right, so I remember before the contest, the games were happening. Me and CJ got like an energy drink I've never seen before. So I got that. Needed some energy. I was already energized, but needed more, I guess. And then there's this outdoor warm-up court, and this is where I kind of knew I was gonna dunk well. It was on the asphalt, but there's still the sport court. We're just warming up. Took me a while to warm up because it was kind of chilly. Tyler Curry, no warm up, doing windmills and all that kind of discouraged me. But I just try to stay composed and do my thing. Warmed up, did a couple one-handers. I'm like, all right, this feels pretty easy. And then we went onto the actual court. There's FIBA games happening. Went onto the actual court, and it was like kind of on a platform, like on a 2-foot wooden platform. Felt pretty bouncy actually. And we did our warm-ups there for like 2 minutes, and I did like this crazy sidearm slingshot thing, and like 50% effort, and I got like here on the rim, and I was like, all right, this is how it's gonna go. So I still have my plan in my mind, like the dunks I was gonna do. I was like, all right, so I'm gonna just do a regular double up. I spam double ups this contest, by the way. So I did regular double up. I'm gonna do elbow just to get me to the next round, and then I'll just do my regular 360. I'll do double up X and then scorpion. That's gonna be my plan. I'm not gonna change it. I'm gonna stick with it. So Tyler Curry was up first. He did a 360 backboard tap, 2-hand rim hang, and I was like, what the? Like, hopefully I get second now. And then I was up second, and then I was like, all right, lock in. I got this guy from, I forgot what country, but he was one of the players, held him underneath, and I punched the crap out of a regular double up. I got like right here, my head was like probably right here at the rim, and the crowd really enjoyed it. I was the shortest in the contest, but I really didn't react. I really don't react actually, so I just stayed composed, and then forgot what CJ did, but the second dunk came around, and Tyler Curry actually messed up on his dunk and didn't complete that. That gave me a lot of hope. So, but I had no experience with dunk contests, so I could have done just a regular dunk to move on, but I don't know, I was dumb and decided to try to go for a honey dip over a 6'8" dude. And the funny thing is, I tried to use the same guy that I jumped over the first time. He's like, no, I gotta get ready for the championship. Pick out my friend over there in the stands. And I guess one of his friends was a player. I thought it was gonna be short. He was sitting down. I was like, all right, he looks about the same height. I was like, I need you to jump over. He stands up, and I just look up. I'm like, dude, I feel like I can't put him back because that's gonna look bad. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. But yeah, that was the scariest thing ever. I literally just dunked on him, basically. I posterized him. But I missed the first attempt. And second attempt, I got like halfway in my rim or on my arm, and then it slid out. I didn't even jump over him. I dunked on him. But I made the dunk, so I moved on from there. CJ did a windmill, and then I found out I moved to the finals, and then I was like, all right, I made second. That's cool. And then I was like, because Tyler Curry was like my main guy, I was like, he's going to win it all. Because he just won in Paris K54. And I think at the time I thought that was like the biggest contest ever. So I was like, he's going to win it easily. But he was out the picture now. So I was like, I might have a chance, to be honest. So I was like, I'm going to just go for it all. So I stuck with my plan. I did my reverse 360 first try. And then CJ followed up with his 360. I don't even know what he did. It was better.
Crisscross.
Yeah, it was better than mine, but unfortunately he got scored lower, so I was up on him. And then I knew he was gonna do double up X because that was like his bread and butter at the time. So I did that before him. I even jumped over him, and then to be honest, I think that was my best ever double up X. I
100%.
probably got like a little above rim from the push off, and then I finished pretty nicely.
It was punched.
Yeah. And then after that, I think that was the first 10 of the contest, like the scoring. And I was like, all right, I just got to make my second dunk, and I think I'll be good. So CJ did a scorpion, I think. Yeah, he did a scorpion after me. That scored higher than my double up X. And then I think I was only 2 points ahead of him. So I was like, all right, I just got to punch this dunk. So I did a scorpion over CJ, punched it first try as well. Had a perfect final round. And ended up winning, yeah. CJ tried to do a crown. Unfortunately, he missed. And luckily, I came out on top. That was a long story.
So I kind of want to not go away from the whole dunking thing, but obviously you're a huge Christ follower. So obviously me and Dylan have learned a lot from you with your social media and just with your faith. So kind of walk me through how you, like maybe not just how you got into faith, but like how you use your faith to your advantage for social media, for dunking, for like basically everything on your dunk journey and everything like that. So I'll just kind of go, like, it doesn't have to be very long, but just kind of go through everything that kind of started your faith.
Yeah, so I've grown up in a Christian household. My dad was a pastor, and my mom always helped in the church. Right now, my brother is a pastor, youth pastor. My other brother does worship, so super involved in the church. Good Christian background. But when I started social media, I thought it was just about me a little bit. And I had this little tug on my heart and this calling from God that I felt like I had to share the gospel and spread through social media at the time. But at the time, I didn't know how I would. It's like, I'm doing dunking, but how does dunking relate to the Bible and the Word? And it took me a couple of years to just put Bible verses in my posts. I don't know why I didn't do that before. It was probably just because I felt like I was going to be judged and I was too ashamed. And that's the wrong mindset to have. And I grew up more mature in my spirituality and started doing that. And then started living out my calling a little more. Got more into my faith. But at the time, I still wasn't strong in my faith. I'd say I was still going through the motions, just going to church like a check-off list, and not living the Christian lifestyle, because a lot of times I treated it as a label. And I was like, yeah, I'm a Christian, I go to church and all that, but I never lived like that fully. And to be honest, the turning point was my quad injury last year. So if you guys don't know, I tore my VMO and partial tear in my quad tendon in a dunk contest, and I was out for dunking for a lot of months, and I couldn't really post content. I couldn't dunk or do a lot of activities, so I was really left alone a lot in my house because I couldn't drive as well because that was my right leg. But I had God, and I really wasn't depressed in that time of injury. Actually, I was like, all I have is God, so let me just try it out, let me just try to get a deep relationship with him, because that's all I have right now. So I did that, and I really just felt the presence of God one day, like just in my room, and I just kept reading the Bible every day, kept praying, stayed in community or close contact with other fellow believers, and it really just grew me spiritually. So my injury was truly like a blessing in disguise. Like it cut off one door but opened another, for God's purpose for me. And I just didn't give up on dunking because that was still my passion, but that also, without dunking, that showed me my purpose, and my priority, which would be God. And that just changed my mindset. And then I really healed super fast, which is a God thing. And I know that God isn't done with me in dunking. And I feel like this is his plan for me, to reach these dunkers in the basketball community and social media. and I recovered from that. Um, and another calling on my heart was to do a Bible study and be more open with my faith. Um, and what better place to do it than in person with other dunkers at the dunk camp? So that was on my heart for a while. The first person I talked to was actually Hunter about this, either like through Snapchat or text. I was like, well, for some reason, I feel like we should just do a Bible study. I feel like dunk camp would be like the perfect place. I just don't know what I'm gonna talk about or what to do. So we brainstormed a little ideas, and I was going up and down with a lot of like struggle still. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe next year and all that. But that just felt like the enemy trying to not get this message out, you know. So I just try to keep pressing on, you know. The time came, the month of dunk camp, I still wasn't prepared. I went to Hawaii the week before dunk camp, still had nothing prepared, but I still brought my Bible and notebook to Hawaii. So every night, I just try to pray to God to see like what He has on my heart to share to people, and He just gave me a good topic just to be like, just to introduce people the truth, you know, like not just some of it, but all of it. So like who Jesus is and all of that, and what a Christian is. So I did that. Went to dunk camp. Did the Bible study. These two guys were there. We had a good turnout actually, and yeah, that just felt really amazing to see how like God moved. And then even the people who didn't pull up to the Bible study posted on my story. The next day, a lot of people came up to me saying like, "I never knew about this. I wish I could have came." So I wish I did promote it a little more to get more people, but that was really cool how God moved.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Like Hunter said, I've learned a ton from you. Obviously, I'm not perfect with everything I do. Wish I got to do more. But I like what you said about kind of people kind of treat social media like it's about themselves. And one thing for me was like once I realized that I'm making almost zero money off my personal social media, like all my income is from like managing other brands and stuff. So once I realized like my personal Instagram basically has no use. Like it is not providing me anything except like self worship. And once I kind of realized what you said, like you can just do like a little bit, just like plant that seed with those Bible verses. Um, but at the start, I was kind of like he said, people are gonna judge me, people are gonna unfollow me. But then I was just like, all right, whatever, I'll just do it. And maybe people have unfollowed me. I don't know, but at the same time, it really doesn't matter. Like when you look at all those people, there's just a lot of people no matter what. And if you're reaching even a few of them, that's great. If you lose followers, who cares? And again, like knowing like all those people that came to the Bible study, that was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. Showed up late though. I failed. I got lost in the hotel. But yeah, I really want to find more dunkers that are Christian and are outgoing with their faith, because again, a lot of us, just don't share some personal things on social media. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. But if you are a dunker and you are a Christian or are interested in being Christian, definitely message any of us three. We'd love to talk to you about it. We gotta make a group chat or something for a dunker faith thing. But yeah, again, super cool.
Yeah, kind of going off of that. Obviously, like I said, I learned from both of them actually, because I was one of the later ones for social media. So, but like even with my Bible quotes that I do put in my bio, I've had plenty of people in my comments or in DM saying like, "Hey, I love what you're doing with your Bible quotes. Like, I've been watching your content for a while. Keep it up." Or, "Hey, this made my day better," or just something along the lines that like it made something positive on their day, which just kind of like puts a huge smile on my face, just because it doesn't take much to put a Bible quote in your caption, but for somebody else that could make the world for them, because again, planting that seed is a huge thing when it comes to being a Christian and being open with your faith. So just to hear those kinds of things, it just kind of keeps me going and wanting to be a better Christian and just keep pushing forward with my faith and not being scared to post or share about it. Um, so yeah, just hearing your guys' input on different things through what I do and what these guys do, it means a lot. And obviously with the whole Bible study, it meant a lot for the guys that did come. And again, hopefully this can be a ongoing thing for the future, and maybe even do something like online where we're all together, like on a weekday or something, and we all do a Bible study together or something like that. But it's just, it also does bring a lot of people together, makes a brotherhood with it as well. So it's also like a cool thing, just to not just talk about dunking, but you can also talk about faith, and just if there's something on your mind that is holding you down, the others can pray for you or talk to you about it, and we're not going to judge you or anything like that. So that's why I think it's a very, very good opportunity to have with all these dunkers, to be close with their faith and just be open about it, because then we can all just help each other in the end. So
Yeah, for sure. We got 4 minutes, so we're running a little short on time. But yeah, Dom, if you want to say anything else, you can. Then we'll move on. But
I'm
good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So moving on to today, I know we've kind of talked about, you know, leading up to that first contest win. Obviously, you had another contest, which I don't remember how you placed in that one, but we're just gonna skip that one. You kind of talked about your quad tear, so we'll skip that too. Leading up to Monday, which was just a couple days ago, if you just want to walk through kind of what happened that day, what happened leading up to it, and now what is going to happen in the future.
All right, bet. I'll try and speed run through this. Monday, I felt pretty decent. I thought I was gonna test 48. Didn't, unfortunately, but warmed up pretty well. Did my full warm up.
What did you test?
I tested 46. It was 11-2 touch. But yeah, I did my full warm up. Felt like a 1 out of 2 knee pain on the left knee. That was a little concerning, but able to warm up properly and start dunking. Got 2 pretty good dunks. Head close to rim, kind of a little above mid net. And then after my second dunk, Isaiah told me to start testing right away. I was like, all right, I guess I'll test 46 first try to get 47, missed it. And then I just hopped back in to the dunk session. And my first jump back into the dunk session, I tried to do the crystal ball where you lob the ball, catch it, let go, and then dunk it again. Unfortunately, I felt a pop in my adductor. I don't know the full conclusion to it, but I'm guessing it is a minor tear or a very bad pull. So I will be out for a little minute, but I'm not stressed about it. Did it once, I'll do it again. And yeah, for the future, I'm going to recover from this first, and my goal is to get super strong. I'm bringing the low rim back, like I said, 2025. Once I get super strong, I'll get back to 10 feet, and hopefully 2025 I start peaking again. So yeah.
So kind of going off the injury stuff, for all these other guys in the dunk community, obviously he's had, well, obviously we don't know exactly with this one, but especially with this quad tear, don't let injuries define what you're going to be doing in the future, because if you look at Dom, I mean, it was 4 months that it took to get you back to your first dunk, and then basically he was Spain and doing behind the backs and stuff like a couple months after that. So, and he tested his second highest vertical on Monday coming back, which was almost 6 months, 7 months now, maybe a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, treat injuries as, I mean, I won't say blessing, but also like a lesson, because that's when you can really learn about your body at its fullest, because you can actually know what your pain tolerance is at and everything like that. So just make sure if you do have an injury, keep pushing forward and just really listen to your body, because that's going to be the best advice that you can have from your body, is just listen to it. Don't push too much. Otherwise, again, you can have some really bad things happen. But even if it does happen, just, again, listen to your body and just get strong again.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, video's probably gonna cut off, so really appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you to Dom, obviously, for hopping on. Thank you to Hunter for co-hosting, and yeah, go follow him, dom.dunks.